Hiya, I'm Sarah Rosshaw. I'm here today to talk about musical futures approaches to the BTEC Tech Award in music practice. So there we go, it's all about looking at musical futures approaches, musical futures resources, and how you can use those to help you with the BTEC Tech Award. So a little disclaimer from me, I am not here representing Pearson. Pearson have got some excellent training on YouTube for their resources with the lovely Tom Howell, but I am here as a head of music. I'm head of music at Emmanuel College in sunny Bradford, so thanks to Emmanuel College for letting me do this. I have acted as an assessment associate on both the internal and the external units, but today I am here in my capacity as a head of music and as a musical futures champion teacher. So why are we here? So as we know, musical futures pretty much started with the book How Popular Musicians Learn by Lucy Green, and she was looking in detail at how pop musicians learnt their craft through various pop music styles, using various pop music techniques. Now, given the specification for the BTEC Tech Award in music practice, you would have thought that actually the musical futures approach and that kind of approach would be pretty much in alignment, because that's sort of the BTEC's really sort of looking for through the units. So where are we going? Well, we're going towards component 3, aren't we? We're all going towards this responding to a music brief that's set in year 11, where the students take a song and they put it into a new style, which is why all these this looking at different approaches to different styles and how you develop those skills and techniques is super important through component 1 and component 2, and we do loads of that in musical futures. Hooray! So there we go. There's the component 3 objectives. You're doing your song in a different style, and you're doing it as a creator and performer or a creator and producer. Component 2, we're still learning skills and techniques in component 2 to get us there. So developing those skills and techniques usually through pop music styles. And then component 1, we're looking at different styles of music. Again, lots of pop music styles, but some non-pop music styles too, and looking at the techniques that are associated with those styles. So what's our sort of starting points for thinking about styles? Well, we found it really useful using the In the Style of resources from Musical Futures. My plan was to try and show you this through the website, but various technological things have conspired against me, so I'm just going to show you on screenshots. But it's there on the In the Style of, loads of choices of different songs. We've done the Ed Sheeran one before. It's great, you can just download the sample pack and it'll let you download all the different samples. We've had huge fun putting the samples in, rearranging them, turning it into our own remix using those stems, just getting students used to using audio stems. We've used Blue Monday before, which turned out to be quite fortuitous because then Blue Monday got set for the component 3 exam, which was quite helpful because our students had just chanced to have a look at it prior. So Blue Monday's still on there if you wanted to do a mock with your students and maybe give them the audio stems. There's a little screenshot on there of some suggestions for remixes, so it'll give you the different parts of the piece of music, and then your students can try moving those different parts around. So here's a little example of this from our student Ethan Aspinall. So thanks very much, Ethan, for letting us play people this. So this is a component 3 example that was done by a producer. We used the In the Style of to get the students used to using the audio stems, get them used to thinking about WAV files. We then went from there into splitting audio stems from different songs. So Ethan split the audio stems from Blue Monday for this, and then created this disco example. So here you go, a little bit of this disco Blue Monday.
Does it feel to treat me like you do?
Okay, I'll cut that short a little bit because if I leave you there for the full 3.5 minutes, you'll be bopping away, but we won't learn anything. So, so let's continue our little discussion. So I'm quite geeky, I'm afraid. So I had a little look through the current spec for BTEC Tech Award and the previous spec for BTEC Tech Award, and had a little look to see what they set on component 3 for the last so many years. So here's what's been set, which is quite interesting because it falls into some nice little patterns, I think. So usually there's some kind of 60s or 70s thing. So you've got reggae, disco, soul, Motown on there. So we've used the reggae resources before on the play-alongs to help prep students. You've got 80s, 90s general sort of indie or some kind of live link that can involve a guitarist. So there's plenty of Britpop resources on there. There's Oasis, so there's indie, so you've got Clarks, all sorts of different things. There's an insider style for indie rock, which we'll have a look at in a minute. EDM, they've done drum and bass, techno, ambient house. Again, lots of resources, relevant resources. And non-pop, they've done blues, they've done swing, horror film, so we'll come to talk about those in a minute. There's plenty of resources for those as well on the website. So here's the insider style, so hopefully you found the indie rock one, which is fantastic. We made really good use of this just to help introduce effects to our students, and on there they've got really good little WAV files that show the instrument in its clean form, but then with a delay, with a reverb and so forth, so you can play all those different versions to your students. So that's really useful on the insider style, and lots of other resources about how to compose music, remix music, think about the skills and techniques that are involved in indie rock and various other styles. So I was trying to think about how best to show you this from a performance aspect, and I thought probably the best way is to actually show you a performer. So this is Ethan Jones. Thanks very much, Ethan, for letting us show this. This is a performance for component 3 using a backing track. So we use the In the Style Of, and we used the various different production things on Musical Futures to help the students understand how to manipulate audio stems, to help them understand how to manipulate effects and so forth, to get that real sort of sound that's associated with the different styles. So this is swing. This was set on component 3 last year. So here it is.
Ethan Jones, candidate number 2383. 2, 3,
4. So there you go. So that's a performance with a backing track that Ethan made in the swing style. We've had students this year who've acted live in bands to do the same job, and we found the Musical Futures resources just really helpful in prepping them for this for component 3. So how do we get them there? So we normally start in year 10, quite often use the play-alongs to help us transition from Key Stage 3. So basically using these play-alongs, including, for example, the blues ones, quite often start with that just to get them going. Then adding in inversions and sevenths and so forth, so adding on those extensions that make the music sound like what it is. Perhaps thinking about changing the order of the chords around, then linking that with other styles, so Can't Buy Me Love, early Beatles stuff. Then looking at other things by the same artist using sort of similar chord structures, linking that to more modern artists, so that takes us to 90s and Britpop. Of course, Britpop set in previous years, indie set this year, so you can see where this is going. It's making all these nice little links. Looking at how we then compose in those styles, how we create in those styles, how we produce in those styles. Here's one with blues, so if you're thinking about non-pop as well, so thinking about starting to move around the chord orders, starting to think about instead of 7, setting 9, setting 13s. And one last one that we've done, so we did this one this year with year 10, our year 10's really enjoyed it. We've got the Movie Maestro resources on there. We gave our year 10's a choice between the different clips. They chose one of the clips, so the clip they chose was Spring, and then they wrote music for Spring. And what's really great is that you get the movie clip with all the time code, with everything, and you can just import that into whatever DAW you're using, and use that as a starting point. We use the first sort of 40 seconds of Spring as a starting point for component 1. So I'll just show you that. So on the website, they have got this with suggestions as well of what sort of music you would put over it. And it's just a great starting point for what the students can compose using sort of musical devices, using those skills and techniques that are linked to film music. So there's the things that they're looking for in component 1, and you can see that, you know, all those skills and techniques that we're talking about for the different styles of music, all the things that we're playing, that we're doing with musical features, all links in to the things that the exam board are interested in. So hopefully that's been useful to you. It's just a few little things that we do in Bradford that seem to work quite well for our students. I'm sure there's loads and loads and loads of other approaches to it and loads of other brilliant ways of using the resources. But hopefully it's been some use. Please have a look on the Musical Features website for all our lovely resources. Contact Fran if you're interested in more details about it. And yeah, I hope it all goes well for everybody. Take care. Bye.